As the Free National Movement government holds firm to its decision to take the straw vendors off of Bay Street, PLP leader, the Right Honorable Perry G. Christie, and a delegation of PLP MPs and senators made their way down to the world-famous straw market to hear firsthand what the vendors have to say. Vendors wasted little time in letting the PLP leader know exactly what their concerns are. They want to stay on Bay Street. They want the market fixed. Vendors expressed outrage at the government's plan to move the market off of Bay Street, where it's been from its inception. Minister of Works Earl DeVoe has told vendors that the market would be moved to Arawak Key. The Free National Movement has expressed a plan to turn the old space into a green space. The vendors are not in agreement with this plan. While they have no problem with green spaces being available on Bay Street, they want to be on Bay Street as well. The removal of the straw market from Bay Street certainly sends a clear message that Bahamian straw vendors are not wanted or welcomed on Bay Street. Under the original plan developed by the PLP for the redevelopment of Nassau, the straw market was intended to be the jewel in the crown for a revitalized tourism product. That plan has now been shelved. The Free National Movement government seems less concerned about the plight of the small businessman and is once again catering to big business. While the removal of the straw market is the #1 concern on the minds of straw business people, their immediate concern was the condition of the tents. At several points during his tour, Mr. Christie was shown the holes in the roof that usually lead to large downfalls of water whenever it rains. Everywhere he went, vendors were pointing to the sky. Mr. Christie was also able to meet with several of our visitors to the straw market. Two ladies in particular spoke to the media about their disappointment in what the F&M has done to the straw vendors. On hand to support the straw vendors were Fox Hill MP Fred Mitchell, Yamacraw MP Melanie Griffin, Engliston MP and Chairman of the PLP Glennis Hannah Martin, Fort Charlotte MP Alfred Sears, Leader of Opposition Business in the House of Assembly Dr. Bernard Nottage, South Andros MP Picewell Forbes, St. Thomas More MP Frank Smith, North Andros MP Vincent Peake, and Senator Jerome Fitzgerald. Mr. Christie addressed the media following his walkabout.
We have come this morning as a demonstration of our full support for improved conditions at the straw market and for people who work in the straw market. It is important for us to impress upon our country that historically, straw vendors have made a major impact on the business community in this country and have been able to derive a tremendous way of life for themselves, as evidenced by the outstanding Bahamian personalities who have come from straw vendor families. My government announced a new contract for a newly designed straw market, which would be in the midst of a plaza. This was not only designed and participated in by business community on Bay Street, but also by hundreds of other stakeholders, which included hoteliers. The idea was for the new straw market to be the catalyst for the redevelopment of the city of Nassau, which includes Bay Street. We are very sad, and sometimes we are angry when we see that emphasis is being placed on establishing a new temporary port where millions and millions of dollars will be spent in pursuance of that. And a decision has been made to cancel the contract for the straw market we designed, and notwithstanding the promise of the Free National Movement to properly house straw vendors, for them to take the site that was selected for the straw vendors and turn it into what they call a green site, a green space. Now, this is a critical period in our country where hundreds of persons who over generations have made an extremely good way of life from the straw market are being dissed and pushed aside, ignored, and even rejected in terms of legitimate demands and legitimate expectations of being helped by the government of the Bahamas to be properly housed. We cannot have a successful tourism industry without having straw vendors who are properly integrated into that industry. After all, one must argue that our culture is the basis of our economy. In any event, it plays a significant role in it, and our culture is replicated here by straw vendors and all that they do. So my government, now faced with the proposition that the priority of this Free National Movement government does not include a proper placement on Bay Street for straw vendors, but instead seems to be focused on creating a new facility in the vicinity of a new island container port facility around or on Arawak Key. And we have taken a very strong position on that since my government spent at least 2.5 years in a really detailed planning for the redevelopment of the city of Nassau. And since this planning involved hundreds of persons, including the owners of the facilities on Bay Street, who at the time agreed with us going forward and agreed to be full participants in it. Now, all of a sudden, we hear about this new facility at Arawak Key, which goes against the master plan prepared, which says that Arawak Key should be the gateway to the newly renovated city of Nassau. So here, we have had the opportunity to listen to straw vendors, to share some fellowship with them this morning, and to demonstrate our support. They have pointed out to us intolerable conditions under which they're working. And quite frankly, the country owes them much more than this, because what they say is when it rains, the water pours in and they have to close down or put covering over their work. Secondly, it's hot, it's messy, and we've heard from tourists who have joined them in saying they are working under intolerable conditions. We are demanding this morning by our presence and by future action that the government of the Bahamas correct this. Now, people are commenting on the fact that we gave a warning by saying the country will divide over this clearly discriminatory position the government is taking, where they appear to be facilitating the economic expansion and interests of special interest persons, right, which amounts to about 5 families, and going against around 600 vendors who have traditionally, been the foundation for tourists coming through cruise visitations. That is unacceptable to the Progressive Liberal Party. We want the country to know it is wrong and that there is a moral imperative for us to act to ensure that we avoid what clearly could come about as a result of this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. Faces because in your heart.
Very good.
Very good. Faces because it's hot inside here. It's hot, man.